there's a reason why I have evolved the method by which I wrap my penis into a circular disc of cloth 5 inches in diameter, as opposed to the previous way that I wrapped my penis, which was a rectangular piece of cloth, if this is my penis, that I would start at one end and roll it as if it were a hot dog or a newspaper. That was the wrong way to do it, because I was merely wrapping the shaft, and then I would pinch off the excess at the end and then cover this with plastic. That's the wrong way to do it. That's focusing on the shaft of the penis, not on the head. The shaft doesn't need our help. Forget about it. Maybe that's what we play with, but that's not what we regenerate. Oddly enough, what we regenerate is the pulp, the core of the penis. And we want to topically add our special fluid solution that we make up with silver hydroperoxide, MSM, dilute silver hydroperoxide, and with MSM, cayenne pepper, and just a pinch, just a teeny pinch of cloves powder. But the hydroperoxide has to be dilute because we don't want to burn the penis. So 50-to-1 dilution of what previously had been, or originally had been, or initially had been no more than 15 parts per million of silver, colloidal silver, 10 to 15 parts per million. Then we added the hydrogen peroxide, it reacted, became silver hydroperoxide, and then we dilute it down 50-to-1 with distilled water, and then add the cayenne pepper and the cloves. Not too much, just enough to burn the penis when we first put it on, but not enough to be unbearable. And the cloves, very little, very teeny, a couple specks. Cayenne pepper, a bit more than a few specks to put it mildly, because you can see how red it is, and you got cayenne at the bottom here of this. What is this? This is a quart-sized pitcher. But the way we wrap the penis is very important. Now, the head of the penis is spongy material. It's like the sponge. And we've allowed it to dry up and lose its capillary density due to being born into a culture that insists on circumcising our baby boys at birth. So the head, the glans, dries up, loses its moisture, and loses its capillaries too, because it's a spongy material exposed to the elements. And it dries up and loses its capillaries and becomes limp even when erect, instead of being puffed up, blown up like a balloon, which it should be, like the rest of the penis. So the core of the penis extends all the way to the glans, unfortunately. And this is what it has become, a dried up, shriveled up, dried up section of the penis, which fails to become erect when the rest of the penis becomes erect. It remains soft, because it doesn't have enough capillaries to blow itself up. So we take our fluid and we pour it into a dinner plate or a salad plate, because this is 5 inches right here in diameter from here to here. And so this fits very nicely in there. This piece of cloth. I can lay it in there nice and flat, and then pour Just, a modest amount, not an excessive amount. Wait for it to soak up the whole cloth, and then take it out, let it drip a few times, stand over a floor rug in the bathroom, and put the penis, if I could show this here, put the penis at the center, and then wrap it around so that I cover the tip, the head. That's the most important thing, is the head. And to drape past the corona slightly. So that if my hand is pretty much the area of the head, the glans, then this is a little bit beyond the corona, beyond the scar line. Just to make sure the whole gland is covered. And then the shaft is exposed. Now why? Because I'm wetting a sponge. And I'm keeping it wet all the time with fresh solution, so that the sponge gets nourished with this mixture and eventually regenerates its capillaries. So this is how to regenerate the glands, if nothing else. Okay? But if you feed the glands, which is just an extension of the rest of the core of the penis, you're feeding the whole penis, topically speaking. Like giving it an injection, a hypodermic injection, because this skin repels water. Come on, it sweats. It gives its own water. It's busy pushing out its own fluid instead of absorbing fluid. Now, we know it does absorb fluid, but nothing like the head of the penis. That's a sponge. Just like the interior of the penis, the core of the penis is a sponge. So is the head. So this is where to apply it to nourish the entire length of the penis. See? The tip. We immerse the head in fluid and keep it wet 24/7. Month after year after decade, as long as it takes for this silver to work its magic, boosted with all the other ingredients that are in there. The oxygenated sulfur of MSM, the oxygenated peroxide of silver hydroperoxide, the cayenne pepper as a debridement, and the cloves as well, as a debridement factor, and the cloves as a kicker to the cayenne pepper. The oxygenated sulfur of MSM is like a booster to the oxygenated hydroperoxide of silver hydroperoxide, but the cloves is a kicker to the cayenne pepper. That's why it takes so little. Cloves. You don't want to overdo it, alright? And also to kill parasites, because if there are any parasites in the area, that's going to hamper the ability of the penis to regenerate. They're going to be eating up whatever you try to develop there. And we want to boost testosterone. So we don't want parasites getting in the way with their toxins, So cloves is a very good thing. But how we wrap the penis, my cell phone keeps, how we wrap the penis is very important. That it's only the glands we're focusing on. So people doing foreskin restoration, tugging on the shaft skin, we're focusing on the shaft like we're playing with the penis, as if we were. This is not how regeneration occurs. We regenerate the head and the rest follows. If it follows at all, it's going to start with the head and work its magic throughout the rest of the penis by distribution. But the head is the entry point because it's a sponge, basically. So this is where my thinking is evolving as I realize how I've been doing it wrong initially and how there's the right way to do it. Okay? It's the head that we got to work on. So, that was basically all I have to say. It might be good to get a little teensy-weensy measuring spoon to help you measure out the clothes. Or you use your fingers, just a pinch. Teeny pinch. Teeny pinch. And the cayenne pepper, I just sprinkle it in, based on its appearance. It's kind of a... Here, let me get the camera here. Based on its coloration, this orangey appearance. And the silver hydroperoxide I've already covered on the silver hydroperoxide channel, how to make this stuff. And it's continually evolving how to make it for the bath. I'm coming up with new recipes, new styles, be able to make it in quantity. But I'm still working on that, so you may have to wait patiently after I post this video for me to do a video on my latest update on how to make silver hydroperoxide in large quantities, several gallons at a time, for bathing, for soaking the entire body once a day. At least once a day. I'm not into taking baths twice a day, maybe in the winter time, Once a day for 1.5 hours, that's about as much as I want to do. In fact, it's so powerful, the new method I've come up with, that I put too much silver in the water and it plated out the inside of the glass. Plated the inside of the glass with silver plating. It's like, whoa, I'm really getting into this electroplating process. Anyway, enough said. It's a little preview of what's to come. But this is about how to wrap the penis and why I use a round disc. And I don't go around the shaft, but I go against the head and then drape it down. It's as if this were a table, a round table, and you put a doily, a slightly oversized doily over the top, and then the ends hang down over the edge. That's how you do it. And then you take your corner of a sandwich baggie that you've cut a quadrant out of. Wait a minute. Okay, so you got your sandwich baggie, your fold and tuck cheap plastic sandwich baggie. Here's the opening and the flap. And you take your quadrant of paper pattern, and nowadays I've learned to put the plastic on top of the paper, let it drape over. So when I hold it, it drapes over. So I line up the corner of the baggie with the corner of the quadrant, and then cut off the excess. So I have a quadrant, and then when I get done, I'm left with a cone-shaped baggie, basically, which I can then drape over the wet cloth and then slide this into the shaft area. Of what's left remaining of my cut up Picante underwear, in which I cut out the balls and I left just the shaft. So I can drape this over that to hold it in place, and I got this holster, this jockstrap holster, to hold everything in place without adding any compression to the penis. So if I should get an erection, the whole penis will be held in, will be equally, have the resistance of this to work against, and and it's still loose enough because this is one size too large to fit me. So I don't compress the penis, because remember, it's a sponge. The last thing we want to do is compress our sponge. when it's erect, because that'll deform it. So, anyway, that was my update, and I hope you enjoyed it. And you didn't get to see anything, oh my god.